What's up guys, I'm Phoenix Master 1 and welcome to my ultimate Forma guide. In this video, I'll be going over almost all of the frequently asked questions about Forma Units and Forma Soul, and some misconceptions that many people have at times, and what is the best way for getting skills that you want on your Forma unit, and at the end, I'll go over how to decide if a Forma unit is worth getting or not with your Forma Soul. Thanks to the 4th anniversary of FEH, we have got a celebration quest, and through that, even free-to-play players can get one Forma Soul for free by doing a very easy arena quest. So if you're a free-to-play player, then this is one of a kind of an opportunity for you to get a fully decked out 5-star Forma unit for free, and you gotta make the most out of this rare item. This quest is only gonna be available from 2nd February 2021 to 1st March 2021. So make sure to get this rare item before the quest goes away. I've worked really hard on this comprehensive video, so I would really appreciate if you could give it a like, and if you're new here, then do consider subscribing, because whenever new HoF forms happen, I make a Forma skill guide video which can give you an idea about the best skills that you should aim to get on a Forma unit. The link to it is going to be in the description, so subscribe so that you don't miss out on those videos. With that said, let us begin. This is the most asked question. The free Forma Soul that you get from the 4th anniversary quest is gonna be here forever in your inventory. It has no expiry date. So you don't necessarily have to use it right now on the current HoF forms, and you could save it for later and only spend it on a unit that you really like or you really want to get. I'll go over on that later on, but basically you don't really need to use it hastily. Saving it for a good opportunity in future is what I would personally recommend. Forma units will always come with their Neutral IVs by default, and the only way you can change their IVs is by using trait fruits. Forma units come with their base skills learned, including their preferred weapon or default weapon, and preferred skill and base skills, even if you didn't learn them in HoF forms. For example, I got this Forma Claude, and I went with Spendthrift Bow because it's a rare weapon and it's a really good option. Still, in addition, he came with the Cunning Bow because that's his exclusive weapon by default. Similarly, I went for a ruse skill on his slot B because his base kit already includes loud speed defense, so now I have access to two really good options. Similarly, Kyria already has lull attack resistance in her slot B, so I went with Mystic Boost as an alternate option. So always try to get rare 5-star locked and seasonal weapons, and try to get 5-star locked premium skills, which are otherwise super hard to get. Do not go for skills or preferred weapons that they already come with, and certainly do not go for skills that are present on 3-star 4-star units. My Forma Flying Nino would love Desperation in her slot B, but Desperation is such a cheap and easy skill to get, there's no reason for me to go for it in HoF forms, and that's why I went with a premium and rare skill such as Mystic Boost, which is just a nice alternative if I ever need it in future. Forma units cannot be merged into other units. However, other existing units with golden border can be merged into the Forma unit. For example, I cannot merge my Forma Edelgard into this plus defense Edelgard I have. However, I can merge my plus defense Edelgard with a gold border into my Forma Edelgard quite easily to ultimately increase her merge level. This also means that if I really wanted to use a plus defense Edelgard, but with the skills of my Forma unit, then I cannot really get that IV by merging, and instead I would have to use the trait fruits on the Forma unit to get that IV again on her. You always get unmerged Forma units from HoF form. Just because you plus and merged a unit in HoF forms does not mean that when you get them using your Forma Soul, they will also have plus and merge. Merge levels do not carry over to your Forma unit, so you can only get the Forma units at no merges, but like I explained before, you can increase their merge level by merging your existing normal 5-star units into them. You can never fodder a Forma unit for their skills, so don't go expecting to get premium skills on a Forma unit only because you thought you could fodder them to another unit, because it's literally physically impossible to do that. Just as a rule of thumb, go for premium assist skills which are super rare to get instead of getting the positional skills like reposition or dropback, which are really easy to get. So always go for rally plus skills or harsh command plus. For specials, always go for premium specials like Ruptured Sky, Blue Flame, and Deadeye. However, if you're really low on Ether and Gale Force fodder, then you could also go for them I guess and save 20,000 feathers in the process. While I did say that you should not go for preferred weapons on these Forma units because they already come with it, an exception is there for units who have refinable preferred weapons. If you're targeting such a unit with your Forma Soul, then getting the refined version of their preferred weapon is going to be saving you some divine dues. For example, on my Forma Lucina, I went with her preferred weapon that was already refined in Hall of Forms, so I wouldn't really have to spend any of my divine dues myself, and that is optimal. Many times there are Tempest Trial and Grand Hero Battle units present in Hall of Forms. If you use your Forma Soul on such units, then you can essentially save your heroic grails if you plan to plus and merge them. For example, in past we have got stuff like Walhard and Oliver, and the next Hall of Forms is going to be having Mini Nerva. So that could allow you to get a premium build on a plus 10 merged unit that you will likely use a lot, and also save 500 grails in the process since you wouldn't have to spend those grails for the last merge, and you could simply merge your existing Grail project into the Forma unit, as the merges of your existing unit do carry over to your Forma unit upon merging them. So using them for Grail merge projects most of the time is gonna be a good idea, as you can save some resources and get the premium skills. Forma units, when you get them, will come with their default base skills and default weapon, as well as the current equipped skills that they have at the end of a Hall of Forms. So for example, I got Attack Defense Rain on this Legarn, but then I got Speed Defense Rain, so I equipped that instead. So if I were to get this Legarn as a Forma unit, she's only gonna come with Speed Defense Rain and not the other skill that she had equipped before. Forma unit come at the same level that they were at the end of a Hall of Form. If you use this Forma unit a lot, then of course they're gonna be at level 40 for you right from the start. Forma units function just like any other normal unit. You can have their confession dialogue, you can summoner support or ally support them, you can refine their weapons later on for different stats, you can access their heroic ordeals, you can inherit more skills to them later on, change their sacred seals, and the usual stuff you would expect. The only catch is that you can never fodder them to other units, and you cannot make them into combat manuals, and they're always going to be stuck with the blue stars and the blue border. The aesthetic is subjective, some people love it, some people hate it, but there's really not much you can do about the aesthetics on these Forma units. When playing Hall of Forms, the unit to get the first skill on each map is going to be the one who can learn a new skill or a weapon after you beat the map. So always decide beforehand which Forma unit you're aiming to get, and then always try your best to always give them all of the first skills on each map that you play on. The skills that you can get in Hall of Forms while making a Forma unit are completely random, and you're at the mercy of the RNG. However, there is slightly more chance of the preferred skills or preferred weapons of a unit appearing in the skill roll, but as I've said before, you actually don't want to get these most of the time because they already have it learned when you get them as a Forma unit, unless you're trying to save some divine dues. This goes without saying, but obviously the skills that will appear for the Forma units are gonna be depending on their movement and their weapon type. A flying unit is not gonna magically get the option to get Bullfighter, and similarly an infantry unit is not gonna be getting an option to learn Dive Bomb. The most optimal method to make sure that you have the max chances of getting the skills you want is by making sure that only the Forma unit you're trying to get gets the first kill every single time. So that's why I would always recommend to play Hall of Forms slowly, scouting each map, seeing if you can beat the enemies or not, so as to not waste any of your torches, and also how you can give the first kill to the unit you're aiming to use your Forma on that particular map. If you cannot do that easily, then simply go to the lower chamber, give the first kill to the unit who you are aiming to use the Forma Soul on, and then try to level up your other units slowly and steadily to face the upcoming chambers. The reason why you should use this approach is because beating Hall of Forms as fast as possible or really early on does not really give you extra rewards or anything in return, so you might as well do it slowly by giving first kills only to the unit you're aiming to get, and once you have beaten Hall of Forms, you can go to the first few chambers daily and give them an easy kill. However, you should always keep in mind that at the end of the day, you're gonna be playing a game of luck. I followed my own advice and I have pretty much not given too many first kills to my other Forma units, as you could see, and only Legarn got most of the first kills, but still I got really unlucky, and despite my best efforts, I was never able to get guard bearing for her slot B or attack speed drain, which I really wanted on her. So luck is always going to be a factor, you cannot really do much against it, but hey, at least what you could do is give your unit more chances of getting that said luck chance by making sure that they are the ones getting the first kills on every single map. So if you have bad luck, then you're just going to be getting Defiant skills and all of these really bad skills all the time, and you're completely going to be at the mercy of the RNG. The skills that are available in a Hall of Form is decided by the last Grail unit added into the game, so the skills are gonna be included until the last Grail unit's banner batch. For example, the next Hall of Forms, which is going to be happening this month, is going to be having skills including until the New Year's banner, since New York Keaton was the last Grail unit added. Similar, whenever Veld gets added into the Grail shop in future, that will be the time when Sarah's Return Plus staff is going to be available in that Hall of Form skill pool. So just because a banner has ended does not mean that their skills are going to be available in Hall of Forms. It depends on the Grail unit added and what banner batch they belong to. You can buy one Forma Soul pack each month, but it is possible to save up the Forma Souls for later use, and then you can use them to redeem more than one unit in a Hall of Form if you have more than one Forma Soul. For example, I saved Forma Souls, so I was able to get both Claude and Edelgard from the Three Houses Hall of Form, and before that I was able to get both Halloween Mia and Dancer Micaiah from the same Hall of Form. This is obviously something that only people who buy Forma Souls can do, since free-to-play players are most likely only gonna be getting one Forma Soul for free. But still, this is a good info to keep in mind, because if FEH is gracious again to give free-to-play players another Forma Soul for free in future, which I really doubt, but still I guess it could be useful info. Hall of Form unit batches are decided in the order of the release of the Fire Emblem games, so it goes from Fire Emblem 1 to Fire Emblem Heroes in that order most of the time. This could change, but generally speaking this is going to be the order. So this month we're going to be getting New Mystery of the Emblem Hall of Form, which means that next month we are probably going to be getting Hall of Forms featuring Fire Emblem Echoes, Shadows of Valentia units. Units in Hall of Form are always one from each color, so for example in the Tokyo Mirage Session Hall of Form, only Itsuki or Kiria would have been there to represent the red color, and never both. So you can use this information to speculate what potential options might happen in future. These units that appear in Hall of Forms can be 5-star logged units, Tempest Trial or Grand Tour of Battle units, seasonal units, and even Choose Your Legends units. And so far we haven't really got any kind of legendary or mythic unit in Hall of Forms, despite the menu featuring their art, but who really knows if those kinds of units will ever be available to use your Forma Soul on. The best time in my opinion to use a Forma Soul is absolutely near the last 1 or 2 days of a Hall of Form when it's about to disappear. The reason being is that FEH always announces which units are going to be present in the next Hall of Forms batch few days before the current Hall of Forms ends. It's always good to scout for another potential option so that you don't really regret your choice later on. We haven't really seen Forma units get reruns later on in the Hall of Forms, so as of making this video, the time when a Forma unit appears in Hall of Forms patch is probably gonna be your only chance of using your Forma Soul to get that unit, and once their Hall of Forms is gone, they're also gone for good. This could of course change in future, but as of making this video, this is how things have been. This is a question which I get asked a lot, if insert X unit is worth using your free Forma Soul or not. Because obviously free-to-play players only have one chance of using this item, so whenever you're hit with this dilemma, I implore you to ask yourself these questions. Is the unit you're about to get one of your favorites? How good is that unit overall? Are you gonna be using that Forma unit a lot if you get them? If you cannot really get merges on the Forma unit that easily that you're about to get, then how well do they perform when they are unmerged? How hard is it usually to get that unit through summoning? If you're a super competitive player, then getting that unit for the meta, how well it will age, and do you depend on that Forma unit to win your games in AR or Arena? It's all about critical thinking and deciding yourself slowly and not falling for the hype train. Right now, for example, at the time of making this video, we are getting the free Forma Soul. Many people are on that Bride Fjorm hype train, but you can already tell that some of them are probably gonna regret this decision in future. You know why? Because many of those players, at least some of them which I personally know and have asked me this question, don't even play Ether Raids that much, and Bride Fjorm's main value is in Ether Raids offense where she provides the isolation. Even then, if you play Ether Raids at a higher level, you already know that isolation is in a very shaky spot because we have skills like Odd Recovery, Kia Staff, defense mythics that allow you to open the 7th slot on defense, which can all get rid of isolation. Not to mention there is counterplay to isolation with having 2 to 3 dancers and building up high HP dancers. If Bridal Fjorm gets common, then I can bet you that high HP optimized dancers like Sylvia are gonna be getting common, and no matter how good your unmerged Forma Bride Fjorm is, she's never gonna be able to isolate such a dancer, especially now that we can run triple mythic on defense for extra stats and HP. And let's take Bride Fjorm as an example and a study of what makes a unit not very good option for free-to-play players to use their Forma Soul on, in my personal opinion. Bride Fjorm's performance does not depend on the premium skills that you get on her. At the end of the day, cheap budget skills you can run on her are ultimately the ones that matter the most for the performance. So in a sense, you're just gonna be using your Forma Soul for the Bride Fjorm that you're gonna be running cheap skills like HP plus 5 on, which means that you're essentially wasting your free Forma Soul in my personal opinion, since you're not always gonna be utilizing those premium skills, and she doesn't even need them most of the time. Unless you're in the 1% of super hardcore competitive players, then chasing after meta units in hollow forms, especially with your free Forma Soul, can at times end up being a decision that you regret, because the meta can change drastically in FEH upon the release of new skills, units, and power creep. From my experience, most people are not in that category of competitive players, so using your free Forma Soul on a character that you already love and adore is a much better option in my opinion than chasing after meta units that do not even need premium skills for their role like Bride Fjorm. Also, units who already come with their really top-notch and perfect base kit are most of the time not gonna be that worth your Forma Soul because they already come with premium skills. Instead, units with underwhelming base kits that require a lot of revamp and that would otherwise require a lot of investment should ideally be the ones that you should use your Forma Soul on, at least if you're a free-to-play player, so that you can get the max value out of hollow forms and in general the Forma Soul. I personally think that we're gonna be getting even better batch of units in hollow forms in future compared to this Bride Fjorm one. So remember to not fall victim to the hype train and think critically before spending your free Forma Soul. Just because for some player a Forma unit is gonna be useful does not mean that it is gonna be the same for you. Everyone's way of playing FEH and their experience is gonna be different. If you want to know the best skills you can get on a Forma unit, then try to tune into my Finessing the Forma series because I try my absolute best to bring you guys the best options for Forma units, and I explain in depth which of them could be useful for your use case and your style of playing. So you can use those videos to get an idea on which best skills you should try to get on your Forma unit to make most out of this item. In those videos from now on, I will be going over how much worth a Forma unit is for free-to-play players to use their free Forma Soul on, in my opinion of course. So I hope most of your questions and doubts about the Forma Souls and Forma units were addressed in this video. Still, if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or on Twitter. I try my best to answer as many questions as I can, and other people in my community also try to help. Be sure to share this video with your friend or in your group if you see anyone wondering about the Forma units. This video is definitely going to be helping them. So hope you all enjoyed this video. I want to thank my YouTube members who support me for making these kinds of comprehensive videos. If you ended up enjoying this video, then be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell because YouTube sub boxes are about as functional as our chances of getting a duo or harmonized unit in hollow forms. So with that said, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.